Hi, I'm Beth with American Patchwork and Quilting, and welcome to this month's tips video for the Blast from the Past Mystery Sampler. American Patchwork and Quilting is turning 30 in 2023, so we're counting down to our anniversary with this mystery sampler featuring 30 blocks, one from each year of our history. This month we're releasing two blocks, blocks 14 and 15, and these both use templates. So templates help you get shapes that are a little bit more difficult to get with standard cutting. Now, if you've never done templates before, I'd suggest starting with block 15. It's a little smaller, a little easier, and kind of gets you some practice on templates before you work on the slightly more difficult block that is block 14. You'll find the link to the free patterns in the video description. First of all, when you print your patterns, make sure you're printing at actual size or 100%. If you select shrink to fit or fit to printable area, it's likely that these are not going to end up the right size. So you can double check by measuring our measurement box on the pattern. So this should measure 1 inch. So take your ruler and just make sure that that is exactly a 1 inch square. And then you know that your templates are going to be the correct size. To make your template, you'll need some template plastic, which is available at local quilt shops. You'll need your pattern, of course. You'll need a ruler and a permanent marking tool. So to make your template, all you do is lay your plastic over your pattern. And I like to use the existing 90-degree corner for one of the 90-degree edges on my pattern. And then you just are going to take your ruler and trace the lines and any notches, any dots, anything like that that is on your pattern. You also would want to label this, so especially if you have one that has multiple templates, you don't want to get those mixed up. So good idea to add a label, and also helpful if it ever gets separated from your project. Next, cut out your template on the line, and if you did transfer over any dots, you'll want to use a push pin to poke holes through the template plastic. Once your template is cut out, now we can transfer that onto the fabric. So you want to mark on the wrong side of your fabric. So I'm going to flip this over, and then you'll take your template, and then you also want that face down. So another reason that you want to label that is you know which side is the right side of your template and which is the wrong side. So you just put that face down on your fabric. Again, if you have a nice corner, you can start in the corner. And then you can just trace it with a fabric marking tool. So you want to use something that's water or air soluble, and just trace around your template. So once you do one shape, then you can just continue adding shapes, as many as you need. So this one needs 4. And to make the most of your fabric, you can definitely rotate your template and try to fit more in there, but this is a directional fabric, so I do want to just make sure that I'm going across so that they're all going in the same direction. Just something to keep in mind if you do have a directional. If you don't, you can, line these up a little differently. If your pattern calls for a reversed shape, then you would simply flip the template over and then make however many of those you needed. So that makes the mirror image of the shape that you just created. Now, block 15 does not require that, but block 14 does. Once you've traced all your shapes, you can cut on the drawn lines. Now I'll show you how these go together. So this is for block 15 here, and then we also have some triangles that we just cut with our rotary cutter. And so these line up just with the 2 right angles together, and then you sew across there. On block 14's shapes, so you have one that's going on either side of the center triangle, and so you can just align these. And this is why there are some weird notches around the edges, because that helps you align your shape when you go to put it together. So then you can stitch that down. So I've stitched those down, and this is what they'll look like. So this is our completed unit here, and then for block 14 we have to add another piece to the second side of this triangle. So same thing, you just line it up and then sew your 1/4 inch seam. Here are the 2 finished blocks. The line I was using is called Isabella by Minnick & Simpson for Moda Fabrics. Such a classic red, white, and blue color scheme with stars and stripes and some florals too. I love how using the stripe in this block gives it a really nice sense of movement. So when you complete your blocks, be sure to share them with us in our private Facebook group or on Instagram with the hashtag APQ Blast from the Past. Happy sewing!